Shalom, Yasharallah. This is your brother Dawada from GMS St. Petersburg, Florida, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rachah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. All right, so I want to jump into this here topic, basically dealing on our people in this time period right now that's that's basically bathing in all these different philosophies here in Babylon, and just on a carnal sense, just taking a look at certain things, pretty much at the end of like a lot of these civilizations or timepieces, or whenever they're trying to change, the social economic structure, one of the things that they do is they flood the scene with a lot of philosophies. All right. And this is pretty much the downfall of a lot of these civilizations. They so-called reach, in their words, they reach a pinnacle of knowledge. And when in reality, they have their most knowledge, they're at their prime when they begin, just like the nation of Israel. When we came into our kingdom, all right, that was when we were at our prime, in the beginning half. But as time progressed, we got worse and worse and worse, Same with Babylon here, same with America here, well, actually, America started out pretty damn bad. But as far as, the verge of technology and things that they got going on now and philosophies, we was way better off, before we had all this increase in technology. And same with the knowledge, when things first, they weren't telling you the truth when you first came over. But nevertheless, let's say, for instance, they only really had like Christianity and, a little bit of Islam. But nowadays they have all kind of different religions. You see the Kemetic stuff coming, and a lot of the East Indian religions and things like that, being populated, and it's highly amongst Jake. It's not amongst these other nations, right? Here in America, you don't really see a lot of these so-called white people over here trying to follow Kemet, follow like the Hindu shit, all of those other different things, all these different philosophies and religions. You don't see the so-called white man following all these different things, You don't see the so-called Asians doing this, the Chinese, the Japanese, the so-called Arabs. You don't see all these different people doing that, If anything, the Arabs, for the most part, they do Islam, and if anything, they'll convert to being a Christian or just not believing at all, and it's very rare that they not be believers. But you don't see them, over here, worshiping like just these random ass religions and ideologies and things like that, Nevertheless, same with our people in Christianity. Our people follow all different branches of Christianity, so on and so forth, But nevertheless, and as you see, our people are getting, more and more dumber and dumber and more defiled. You could just see that they're regressing in their so-called progression in life, Whereas you would have seen somebody, just speaking on the carnal sense, somebody in the world carnally, couple years back, they had a little more carnal sense in their mind, all right? And then nowadays they're into more and more philosophies, and you see them just doing the dumbest of things. They just becoming more and more based, the more and more gods they start picking up, the more and more, they think they're getting knowledge. Oh, it's the time we getting smarter, and I'm dibbling and dabbling in this. But I'm just saying, as a regular so-called adult, you're regressing into a child state. Your mind state is now like a child, because you believe in all these different ideologies, and there's a video with the ex-KGB agent who said if you want to demoralize, or if you want to brainwash a civilization, you got to demoralize them. And in layman's terms, that basically mean, according to, for us Israelites, go against the law, statutes, commandments. The Most High say, don't sleep with your mother, don't sleep with your brother's wife and things like that. But what? You have, society nowadays is pushing things like that, like they have, songs and stuff. Oh, I slept with your bitch and this and that, Here in America, one of the main things that they push out here is porno, and you see that in the porno and stuff, they have titles like mother and son and shit like that. That's demoralizing people. So the more and more you believe in things like that, you'll believe anything. All right. Same with these other gods and religions. The further and further you get away from the truth, the more and more you believe any and everything. All right. So we're going to jump into the scriptures, and we're going to try to cover all of this. And, you see the progression of our people. All right. And what's going to happen to them. All right. This is Deuteronomy 28, and I'm going to start at verse 36. Yahweh shall bring thee and thy king, which thou hast set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. All right. Obviously, i.e. over here in America. All right. And there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. Okay, and you see us doing that here today. All right, so-called, if you was to take a census in America, right, of all the different nationalities you have here, you know, let's just say you got the so-called white man, the nation of Israel. We'll just say the nation of Israel as a whole. All right, you got the so-called white man, Israel. You got some Hamites, the Africans, and some Moabites and Ammonites, Japanese and Chinese, right? Let's just say you have them, right? Out of all these Americans or people here living in America, right? You only, like, the Chinese and the people from over there, they might have their own same religion, or they might be Christians. But, and the same with all these other people, Muslims might be Islamic or they might be Christian. However, when you get to Jake is the one with 1 billion different religions. We the only ones here in America, you know, if you was just take a census of people here in America and all their religions, everybody will fall under 1 or 2 different religions or just being an atheist. Whereas the so-called, well, the Israelites, we have 1,000 different religions. Oh, Santeria, you know, we follow Kemet, you know, we follow, the Nation of Islam. We follow a whole bunch of shit. You see what I'm saying? We worship all these different gods that neither us nor our fathers have known, because these are all new gods and philosophies, especially here in America. You know, women's rights, women's liberation. You know, that's a form of a god as well too, which will, you know, Lord willing, we can get to that. But nevertheless, you know, all these different philosophies and ways of being here in America is basically a way of living, or how do I say, ideology, or something like to that effect. You know, where people live by these ways of life. All right, well, this is how we do it here in America. But you don't realize that, you know, you might not see it as directly worshiping another god or anything like that, but that's going against the Most High and what he got planned, and you see the destruction. All right, so let me jump into you know, like, you know, on the basis of levels, you know, like the scriptures say, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. You see what I'm saying? So on the basis of levels, you know, you want to follow, let's just say, the irregular American ideology of just being an American, you know, hamburgers and hot dogs, that type, you know what I'm saying? And pork is a part of that, right? But our people over here eating pork and swine, and we're not supposed to, because that was, you know, one of the things that the Most High told us not to do. All right, but we want to partake in the American way. And look, you in the hospital with diabetes and whatever, whatnot, and they telling you, hey man, you got to get up off of that pork. But the so-called white man eating it, well, it wasn't given unto him not to eat it. All right, this is his shit. You in captivity under him. You need to be separated from him. All right. Actually, let me go back there. I didn't finish that. Deuteronomy 28 and 37. Oh, 36. Yahweh shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, into a nation, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there thou shalt serve other gods, wood and stone, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all the nations, whether Yahweh shall lead thee. Now, this is, you know, this is some deep spiritual shit, because we'll go into these other nations and we'll assimilate with these nations and we'll wind up worshiping their gods. But we get the worst end of the stick. Why is that? Well, we worshiping the gods that they worshiping. How come they ain't getting punished? They going off too. No, they not going off, because the Most High said he only known us among all the families of the earth. They got their own little gods and their entities. They really ain't, they worshiping either like basically how we would call demons, or just entities that's under the Most High. All right, which it's just there to lead them astray. Or just a false ass idol, like just some damn a stone or some shit. You see what I'm saying? They don't have a direct connection to the Most High like we do. We are his chosen people, all right, to represent him on the earth. All right. It says, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all the nations, whether Yahweh shall lead thee. And that's because why? We go out and we worship these other gods among these other nations and wonder why we getting the worst end of the stick. Because we supposed to be his children, we supposed to be worshiping him, but yet we worshiping these heathens and they gods. When he was like, look, I didn't even give these niggas no gods. They worship a toilet paper roll. Now you want to worship the toilet paper roll? I'm about to destroy your ass, because I actually gave you I am your God. You know what I'm saying? I am dealing with you. I'm not dealing with them like that. You see what I'm saying? So our people become at a low level in the basement like that. That's why you see how people walking around with so-called either knowledge or whatever, whatnot, you know, just like how people look at Love and Hip Hop or any of these damn nigga shows, right? These people, the gods that they worship is basically the god of the intellect. They think that they know so much, they all this and that, and they just assimilating and following Esau, and they worshiping Esau because they'll dress like him, act like him, and try to be bougie like him, you know, and then they realize somewhere down the line, why is all these bad things happening to me? Why am I not this and why am I not that? You know, all these so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans think that they, what Jay-Z got a song like that. He was like, that one song where he talking about nigga this, nigga that, nigga this, you still a nigga. He was like, something about OJ, where he made a reference like, well, I'm OJ. And he was like, well, nigga, okay. And you seen exactly what happened to OJ. OJ was feeling like, oh, I'm such a celebrity, I'm such a star, I'm assimilated and accepted by the white man, so that's my God, I'm right there with him. He brought me in with him. But no, what happened? He wound up turning on your ass and putting you right back in the place where you were supposed to be, up under his feet, all right? Treated you just like any other nigga that they would do that to, all right? Now, we was reading Deuteronomy 28 about how it was going to be, taken, basically scattered out into the four corners of the earth, and we was going to be serving these other gods, right? Now, a part of that, being taken into these four corners of the earth and things like that, this is Psalms 83 and 2. For lo, thy enemies, the people that we will be in captivity up under, mainly the Edomites, and all the other nations we will be scattered to, make a tumult, and they that hate thee lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. So these people are planning and plotting. All right, they all came together. Let me jump down to verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, the Ishmaelites, and of Moab, the Hagarenes, Gebal, Ammon, Amalek, the Philistines, and inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur is also joined with them. They have hope in the children of Salat. So these people came together with a confederation. All right, they came together and consulted with one consent against the Most High's people. All right, the children of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, and when they planned on you, they didn't have a good plan for you. We, again, put it in context. We were scattered into the four corners of the earth for our punishment, and they was going to rule over us. All right, now this is what they took consent to do. All right, verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more remembrance. For one, that happened, cutting off us from being a nation. That one happened for taking us into captivity. We no longer was a sovereign nation. We was up under them. All right. Also from that, they scattered us in, how do I say, you got a family, right? Mom, dad, and like 10 kids, right? The Joneses. This is the house of the Joneses. But now the government come in and separate the whole damn family and scatter them all around. Now the Joneses no longer living under one roof. They, some are over here, some are over there, some are on this continent, some are on that continent, Same thing that they did with us, i.e. look at the slave trade or in slavery. They was breaking up families, on plantations and selling them to different plantations. All right. And you would so-called forget your lineage and so on and so forth. But not just that, it says that the name of Israel may be no more remembrance. All right. And that's not as simple as it seems, because we just read the word Israel right there. So obviously it's still in remembrance. All right. There's a landmass that they call, I think now they actually call it the state of Israel. All right. Or they might just call it Israel now. I think they call it the state of Israel now officially. All right, so there's a place called at least Israel. All right, it's on the map. We read it right here, so that word is still in remembrance. We know what that word is, right? But what these people, the original Israelites, the real Israelites, all right, they wouldn't know that they were Israelites no more, because they would be scattered into these other nations and assimilated with these nations, i.e., here today in America or everywhere they was going. For example, me when I was growing up, I thought I was a so-called black man, a so-called American the whole time, until I woke up to who I really was. Until I woke up and realized I was a prisoner of war. I was taken in captivity in slavery by this nation, the Edomites, the so-called white man, and I'm still here until this day. All right, I had a whole different, I actually have my own identity. All right, they just took this identity from me. I wasn't calling myself Israel. I wasn't calling myself an Israelite, a child of the Most High like that. All right, I didn't know who I was. I was calling myself a so-called black man and an American. All right. So, and in that process, like I said, we start assimilating with these people. So we start growing up thinking these are the right ways of doing it, i.e. Christianity, worshiping a so-called white man. How is it that they took our book from us, gave it back to us, and we didn't know who the hell that we was reading a story about us, and that they didn't change Yahushua and his image. They just told us a different story, because, in Revelation, 1:14, it's the same thing. That's always been there. All right, the descriptions of all the Israelites in the scriptures has always been there, but they just gave us a different, they jumped around all those things and gave us a different perception. So even when we would read clearly that Moses was brought up as an Egyptian, and ain't nobody realized that there was a white man that was being tried to be lied to us, saying that's the Pharaoh's grandson. Like, wait a minute, how did Pharaoh have a white grandson? Nobody questioned that. You see what I'm saying? Nobody questioned that Joseph was being raised up in Egypt as a so-called white man amongst these Egyptians. Nobody raised the question that who the world only calls Jesus Christ, All right, Yahushua, when he was born, Herod tried to kill him, so he was brought into Egypt, and he was running from so-called white man, being a so-called white man, hit amongst so-called colored people. We would never think about no shit like that. You see what I'm saying? But it's clearly in there, and it don't make no sense that a so-called white man would run from so-called white men and hide amongst so-called black people. Okay? It only would make sense that if Yahushua was a man of color, and he was running from a so-called white man, that he would hide amongst other so-called men of color, i.e. the Africans. We look the same. That's why people mistake us all the time. All right. But nevertheless, we would be, how do I say, mixed in with these people and assimilating with these people and taking on their ways and their ideologies. All right. This is the book of Micah, chapter 2, verse 10. It says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. All right, this place where we at, our captivity, this is not our rest. We got to remember we in captivity. All right, this is jail. You can't go to jail. All right, you got a 5-year jail sentence, right? You all up in jail trying to move your shit into the prison, get your PlayStation, Xbox in there, cable in there, get your bitches to roll through there, paint the jail cell, bring some furniture in, invite people over and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, bro, come chill with me. Let's play some cards or some shit. You can't do that in prison, man. You in jail. You can do that with the other cellmates, but you can't do that to the outside world because you in prison. You don't own that cell. You there in captivity. All right? You can't just be like, yo, bro, I'm going to paint these here walls, knock this wall out, and add a jacuzzi over. You can't do that. You in prison. You can't, it's not there for you to enjoy. All right. Same with here in America. We in prison here. All right. This place ain't here like they got that song, I'm living my good life, or I'm living my best life, or some shit like that. I'm living my best life. And a lot of people saying that. I don't know if that was the shit supposed to be for 2018 or 2019 or whatever the fuck. But for our people to be sitting here singing that shit and believing and thinking of that shit, man, this is not your rest, man. This place is polluted. It's going to destroy you. You believing in these lies, man. You believing that this is supposed to be, you supposed to be living your best life, living in the biggest house, enjoying yourself. Man, this is your prison. All right. You ain't supposed to be living your best life in prison, man. Wait till you get out of prison, man. You got a 5-year fucking stint in prison, and you trying to have parties and shit, invite people over to the jailhouse. You know what I'm saying? Have a barbecue and shit. Nah, man, you better just serve your little time. All right. And you know how most Jake do in jail, they want to go get knowledge. Read as much books while you can. All right. Get knowledge while you can, because you finna get up out of jail. Now you gonna have to apply that knowledge. All right. So same thing here, man. We in captivity here, man. You need to get all the knowledge of who you are. All right. Come back to the law, statutes, commandments. Know the Most High and do the will of the Most High. Fish out his elect. All right. We about to get up out of here, man. It says, you know, if you know anything about the jail system, we basically in a halfway house situation, meaning we stepping down from being in the jail scenario, trying to convert back to or assimilate back into regular civilization. That's where we at now. You know, that's what the elect has done right now. The elect had done woke up, and we shed off that old skin, because we was doing the same shit, man. We was over here basking in America and living it up here in America, living our so-called best lives in America. But what? We like, oh shit, we realized we was in jail. All right, they about to give us our walking papers. We got like 12 months left, like a year and a day left or some shit like that. So we about to get transferred to a halfway house, all right, where we can have a little bit of freedom, you know, get to spend some of our time throughout the day walking around the city, maybe get us a job so we can so-called assimilate back into society, so it ain't just from prison to just freedom. All right, that's where we at now, is the men of the Lord, man. We know that we about to get up out of this here prison, man. And the rest of you people, man, you just sitting in there, we looking at y'all in them jail cells like, yo, dog, I'm about to, paint up my shit and do this and that. We like, bruh, you only gonna be in there for another 36 more days. I don't know why you trying to do all that shit. You can't even do that. You don't own the prison. All right. It says, arise and arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you even with a sword destruction. And yeah, let me just get to it, because Revelation 18. Actually, let me this is Revelation 17. So lucky. Let me just read one verse out here, 17 and 2. This talking about Babylon the Great, where we were, mainly, this is our main captivity, It's that maximum security prison. All right, Revelation 17 and 2, talking about Babylon the Great, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornications, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Well, see, America didn't put his philosophies on the kings of these other earth, on the kings of these other nations, and you know, they didn't trickle down to their people. Not just that, the things here in America that's being broadcast to the rest of the world, i.e. Like hip hop. You know, hip hop is running across the damn planet Earth, and all these other nations that don't got no understanding of really what hip hop is, and it's not the government that's introducing them to hip hop. You know, it's the ways of YouTube and things like that. People have all these different things. So the things that spread from here, also one of the biggest exports besides bombs in America, that America exports around the world, that makes money, all right, is porno. Porno make more than all the sports combined. All right, that's hey man, that debauchery and shit. You see what they're doing with the LGBTQ community, spreading that and homosexuality around the world, and how that's making all the nations their nations corrupt as well. All right, so let me jump down to Revelations 18 and verse 1. It says, after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lighted with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornications, and the kings of the earth have committed fornications with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. So yeah, everybody was dipping and dabbing. Everybody was sucking on that Babylon titty. All right, now that Babylon milk was sour. Now everybody got basically alcohol poison from this shit. Now they all on the toilet throwing up. Shouldn't have been drinking from out of that bitch's cup. You see what I'm saying? That's what we telling our people, man. On a larger scale, these other nations realizing what America really is doing and how fucked up it is, and they willing to take their military and sacrifice their whole nation. In fact, some countries is willing to sacrifice the whole planet Earth and every soul on the planet Earth, i.e. Russia, with thermonuclear missiles. Like, nah, fuck that. We tired of drinking this badass vodka. All right, we the kings of vodka over here. We know that y'all shit is watered down and diluted, man. This shit keep giving us alcohol poison. So we willing to just blow everybody up over that shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's in a large scale, talking about in a political arena. How much more you Jake that's living here in America, following after America, and they small scale shit. You see what I'm saying? It's driving you out of your mind. It's got you on drugs and alcohol and depressed and all that type of shit. You're not depressed to the point to where you'll go out there and go rape, rob, and murder a whole another continent to get enough money to create a thermonuclear bomb to go blow these motherfuckers up. So if these other nations is that mad, how much more should you people be, or our people be? You know, you need to wake up and look around you and see what's really going on, man. Stop trying to assimilate with these here people, man. This is not our people, man. This is not our rest. It's gonna destroy us. All right. This is Isaiah 43, verse 9. It says, let all the nations be gathered together and let the people be assembled. All right. And hey, look, that for one, that's what they're doing. They all being gathered together. All right. But also you can bring them all together and just ask them what I just asked you. Like, why y'all all mad? Why everybody got thermonuclear? Why everybody out here with their guns drawn out? You know that them scenes in the movies where something pop off and then everybody from all sides pull guns and point at everybody. Like, whoa, what got us to this point? What got us to that point? Basically, America. America was the one in the midst that got everybody to the table bringing their guns out. All right. And we being basically, how they would say, citizens of America by, you know, being here. Hey, man, we in the belly of the beast, man. We the closest to the damn fire, man. We need to come up out of her first and foremost. All right. Especially being children of the Most High. That's what make us need to come up out of her first and foremost. It says, who among them can declare this and show us the former things? Let them bring forth their witness that they may be justified, or let them hear and say it is true. So out of all these different nations, which one of them got the right philosophy that can declare the former things? All right. Or tell you the things from the beginning, tell you the end from the beginning. What nations got philosophies like that? What nations got gods like that? Who got gods like that? Nobody do. Verse 10, speaking to the Israelites. All right. The Most High speaking to the Israelites. Ye are my witness, saith Yahweh. All right, we witnessed him in Egypt. We witnessed him in Babylon. We witnessed him in Persia, Medo-Persia. All right, from the deliverance in Egypt, the writing on the wall in Babylon, the rebuilding of the temple in Medo-Persia. All right, and shit, really, Yahushua in the Roman times. All right, and then here in Babylon, man. We ain't know who the hell we was, but now we waking up. So we seeing these prophecies, you know, right now in this point in time, man. The Most High says, you are my witness, saith Yahweh, and my servant who I've chosen. We've been the center of all that attention the whole time. It says that you may know and believe me and understand. The Most High said, look, bro, you my witness. All these things look, remember the days of old. Look back. Ask thy fathers. Let me hit that real quick. I love that. 32 and 4, 6, 7. Verse 6. Do you requite Yahweh, O foolish people and unwise? Do you repay the Most High like this? Is he not thy father that has brought thee up and has made thee and established thee? Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations, and ask thy fathers, and he will show thee, and thy elders, and they will tell thee. All right. Let me go back to Isaiah. But nevertheless, you can go back and look at all our history. Read the scriptures, man. The Most High. Let me reread how it says that you may know and believe me and understand that I am He, and before me there was no power formed, neither shall there be after me. I, even I, Yahweh, am Yahweh, and besides me there is no Savior. All right, and that's basically like the Most High's name. It says I, even I am, like I am He. You see what I'm saying? That's His name. He is, But in this, how I'm reading, it says I am, I am He. He is. He is the one, and besides Him there is no other. There's no Savior. It says I have declared and I have saved and I have showed, and there was no strange power among you. Therefore you are my witness, saith Yahweh, that I am the Most High. All right. So like how Moses was basically leading us with the power of Yahweh at that time. All right. We could be like, oh, Moses did all these great works, but he had a God with him. He had the Most High with him. Same with the Most High, but different from the Most High. The Most High, we seen the Most High do all these things, but there wasn't nobody giving him the power like the Most High was giving Moses the power. The Most High is the top of the whole rung. You can't go no higher than him. All right. It says, verse 13, yet before the day was, I am He, and there was none that can deliver out of my hand. I will work, and who shall tell it? All right. That's all I want to grab there. Let me go back to Isaiah 40 and 12. It says, who hath measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, and meted out the heavens with a span, and comprehended the dust of the earth in the measure, and weighed out the mountains in the scale, and the hills in the balance. Man, that's some deep shit right there. Who constructed the earth? Who terraformed the earth? If you know anything about terraforming, you know what I'm saying? Like who shaped the earth, made these mountains this high, so and the waves and the beaches. You got to understand, man. Think about that. The design of the earth. Who made the slope on all the beaches so that the water would come up at a so-called level plane and hit a small incline and go back? You know what I'm saying? The boundaries of the sea. The sea don't spill over. How come the oceans don't just flood the whole planet Earth? All right. How come you have like just the design of the certain things of the planet to make the whole ecosystem work like that? So it's just in a perpetual. They say there's no such thing as perpetual motion, perpetual energy. The Most High is, first of all, spirits are like that. The Most High is like that. But He set forth the planet, the moon, and the stars all like that in perpetual motion. It ain't never stopping. The planet ain't never stopped moving. It ain't never stopped rotating. The winds don't ever stop. The oceans don't ever stop. None of that. It's all perpetual motion and energy. The rain cycles, all of that, man. It's all perpetual. All right. It says, verse 13, who has directed the spirit of Yahweh, or being his counselor taught him? So who gave the Most High knowledge? Who did Yahweh sit at his feet? Whose feet did Yahweh sit at and learn from? All right. Nobody. With whom took he counsel, and whom instructed him, and taught him the path of judgment, and taught him knowledge, and showed him the way of understanding? Nobody showed the Most High how to understand. Nobody taught the Most High. All right. So talking about these other nations, or these other nations and their philosophies, or the other gods and these other things, man. Hey, man, the Most High is the creator of all the things, all the elements, and all these different things. So anything beneath that, you know what I'm saying, they ain't got no power over Him. Behold, the nations are a drop of a bucket, and they are counted as a small dust, and of the balance. Behold, He taketh up the isles as a very little thing. And Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beast thereof sufficient for a burnt offering. All nations before Him are as nothing, and they are counted to Him less than nothing and vanity. To whom will you liken the Most High, or whom will you compare Him? All right. So out of all these other nations, you want to follow the Hindus, whoever you want to follow. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, man, these niggas ain't shit compared to the Most High, man. He'll watch. Turn on the damn international news right now. All them motherfuckers is worshiping, crying out to their gods right now. And the Most High is washing every nation up right now. Every nation is getting fucked up right now, and they all calling on their gods, and they not one of them is standing up. No, not one of them. All right, there was a picture of one of these East Indian gods, or they had their temple and shit, right? They was out there, they temple worshiping, and all of a sudden, now the temple was like kind of on this edge of the water. It's been there for quite a while. You know, I would like to say it looked like it's been there for about a couple hundred years. It's been there for a while, like an ancient temple, right? Sitting on the side of the water for a while, man. And like a matter of an instant, they out there worshiping. All of a sudden, this goddamn temple, man, from the bottom down, it ain't break up or nothing. The whole shit just fell straight into the ocean, sunk to the bottom. These motherfuckers out there worshiping, hooting and hollering to their damn God and Most High. I said, what? Man, I'm gonna wash all that shit up and just drop it to the bottom of the sea real quick. That thing had been sitting there for the whole time, and in an instant, it was gone. Why couldn't they God save them? You see what I'm saying? It says, the workman, let me read verse 18 again. It says, to whom will you liken the Most High, or what likeness will you compare him unto him? The workman meeteth out the graven image, and the goldsmith spreadeth it over gold. He casted silver chains. He also impoverished. He that is so impoverished that he has no oblation chooseth a tree that will not rot. He seeketh unto him cunning workmen and prepare a graven image that shall not be moved. So what? People are taking gold and silver and making golden idols, golden calves and things like that, which you don't realize you got to make that shit. It didn't make you. You fashioned it. It didn't fashion you. You see what I'm saying? You gave it purpose. It didn't give you purpose. Same with these damn trees and shit. You cutting down trees and logs, walking around with literally, I've literally seen this shit within, you know, my own family. Motherfuckers walking around with wood and stones. All right, walking around with these little stones and crystals and stuff. This give me this, and this stone give me that. This stone give me this, and burning this here little wood, and the smoke from this here wood will give me this and that. But it ain't worshiping no other gods. But yet you looking for that for some kind of powers and energies, looking for that to sustain you. That's a god. You just don't realize that. All right, verse. It's the Most High telling to our people, verse 21, Isaiah 40:21. Have you not known? Have you not heard? Have it not been told to you from the beginning? Have you not understood from the foundations of the earth? You motherfuckers, man. This is what the Most High saying to you dumb, docile pieces of shit, man. You brute beast, man. I can't really be mad with you because literally the Most High got you blinded, but this shit is aggravating, man. And I can't even really, again, I can't really even be tripping because it ain't even of me that I see this shit. It's the Most High who opened up my eyes to this shit, man. I'm not in control of, I just woke up to the truth because I'm smarter than you niggas. No. The water Yahabashim Yahweh for waking me up to this shit, man. Not shit, but to this truth. Because, hey, if it wasn't unto him, I'd be in the same boat as them. But at the same time, that's why I said I can't really be mad at them. But in a carnal sense, the shit is aggravating as fuck because it's just obvious. You see what I'm saying? It says, have you not known? Have you not heard? Has it not been told from you from the beginning? You see what I'm saying? Remember the days of old. We read that a little earlier. Look back at your history. Look back at, just take a plain look at the whole world, man. All right, this the only thing moving. Everything else is just stagnant, man. Everything else is just smoke and mirrors, just bullshit, man. All right, have you not understood from the foundations of the earth? It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth, not the flatness, but the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers. All right, he stretches out the heavens as the curtains and spreadeth them out as the tents to dwell in. Man, the Most High. I ain't gonna go there. That bringeth the princes to nothing. He maketh the judges of the earth as vanity. All right, man. Xerxes 300, Alexander the Greek. All right, all these so-called great people in the earth, man. The Most High brought all these motherfuckers to nothing. The Rothschilds, these Edomites, they all being brought to nothing. They being brought to just being debased. Look what he did to Nebuchadnezzar. Isn't it even I who created the great hanging gardens of Babylon? Now that motherfucker walking around like a damn dog in the field and eating grass and shit, man. You see what I'm saying? Being brought to a base. All right. Same with Xerxes. Nevertheless, look at our people, man. We the gods of the earth, man. And now look at us. You see what I'm saying? So he bringeth the princes to nothing. He maketh the judges of the earth as vanity. Yet they shall not be planted, yet they shall not be sown, and their stock shall not take root in the earth, and they shall also blow upon them, and they shall wither, and the whirlwind shall be taken away as stubble. To whom will you liken me, or whom shall I be equal, saith the Holy One? Who you gonna liken the Most High to? I can get this from over here, I can get this from over there. Hell no, ain't nobody like the Most High. All right, lift up your eyes on high, and behold, who have created these things, and bringeth out their hosts by number. He calleth them all by their name. He calleth them all by names by the greatness of his might, for that he is strong in the power. in power, and not one faileth. Hey man, who created all these things? All right, who created all the hosts of heaven, all the angels, and called them all by their names? What about all the stars of heaven and called all of them by their names? Man, you can't even measure, you can't even see all the motherfucking space. You see what I'm saying? You can't even see all the goddamn space. You can't even see all the stars. But yet the Most High know how many stars is out there. He placed each and every one of them out there and gave them their commandments to shine forth, that they not break their commandments and not break his will. And he called them all by their names. He know every last one of them. He know the weight and the measurements of each and every last one of them, man. Who can you liken any of your gods to? Which one of your stones or your little woods that you can light, your incense you can light? Which any of that motherfuckers can tell you any of that shit? Name any of them. Who created any of them? Who know the origins and elements and all them things like that? The Most High took the same, you know how they got a table of elements that they got on the planet Earth? He took this, I forgot how many elements it is, but it's not that many. But he created the trillions upon hundreds of trillions of things on the planet Earth with them same goddamn elements. The elements that's inside your body is this, fuck it. The same elements that you drink for hydration is the same elements that they use for a goddamn hydrogen bomb. You see what I'm saying? They just take the oxygen out of that. You see what I'm saying? The two things, hydrogen and oxygen. You breathe oxygen, and hydrogen is like water, basic. But water is two molecules of hydrogen and one molecule of oxygen. You separate that motherfucker, you take the oxygen out of that shit and you got a bomb. You see what I'm saying? But yet you drink this and you sustained off of that. The same elements. Alright? Why sayest thou, O Jacob, and speaketh, O Israel, my way is hid from Yahweh, and my judgment is passed over by my power. Alright? Oh, nah, I ain't worshiping no other gods. I got this and that. Hast thou not known, hast thou not heard that the everlasting power, Yahweh is his name, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainted not, neither is he weary, and there is no searching out his understanding, man. This where your nigga ass Kevin Gates got this shit from. That's why I say the Most High is, he the highest, man. He the illest, spitting bars and everything. He says, hast thou not known, hast thou not heard that the everlasting power, it don't stop. Yahweh, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainted not, neither is weary. He don't get tired. The Most High don't sleep. He don't get tired. He can do this shit all day. This is what I do, brothers. He do this all day. You see what I'm saying? There's no searching out his understanding. He gives power to the faint, and to them that have no might increaseth in strength. All right, talking about his servants, his saints, the elect, man. All right, real quick, let me close out. Let me get two more. We're gonna close out, man. I get heated when man, you motherfuckers don't know the Most High and the things that he done did and how obvious it is, man. And you got the nerve to disrespect him like that. I'm gonna read three more. This Nehemiah 9:6. Thou, even thou art Yahweh alone. Thou hast made heaven, the heavens of heaven, and all of their host. All right, the sun, the moon, the stars, and all of that. The earth and all the things that are therein. The sea and all that there is therein. And thou preservest them all. And the host of heaven worship thee. God damn it, the whole fucking planet Earth worship the Most High. How much more you goddamn people, you Israelites, all right, who's supposed to be made in his image to show forth his glory and his and bring honor into his name, man. All right, I'm gonna go back to Deuteronomy. We're gonna read this one more time. Deuteronomy 32:6. I'm gonna go up. 32:4. He is the rock. Yahweh is the rock. His work is perfect, for all his ways of judgment, the power of truth, and without iniquity. Just and right is he. For they have corrupted themselves. Talking about us, the Israelites. Their spot is not the spot of his children. And that should be the most depressing thing you ever heard in your life. That the Most High cast your little punk ass out. They are perverse and a crooked generation. Do you requite, or do you deal with Yahweh, O foolish people and unwise? Is he not thy father that has bought thee and has made thee and established thee? Remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations, and ask thy fathers, and he will show thee, and thy elders, and they will tell thee. When the Most High divided the nations their inheritance and separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For Yahweh's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. He found him in a desert land and in a waste of howling wilderness. He led him about and instructed him. He kept him as the apple of his eye. We was the first thing that the Most High saw when he saw everything else out there. Just like a man to his wife and his family. Like, yo, I'm about to buy a house. But first and foremost, let me buy a house with my family in mind. I can't just buy a 1-bedroom studio for just me. I got 5 kids. Let me buy a car. But let me keep my family and kids in mind. First and foremost, I can't go buy a motorcycle and try to put my family and kids into that shit, I gotta go buy like something like a minivan. Even though I don't want to drive a minivan, it ain't cool to me. But I need to think about my family and my kids first and foremost. That's what the Most High did for us. All right. It says, as the eagle stirreth up her nest, fluttering over her young, spreadeth abroad her wings, taketh them, and beareth them on her wings like an eagle in a nest, teaching his little babies to, you feed the babies and everything like that, but teach the babies how to fly. The mama kicked the damn baby out the damn nest, from a high nest. The baby start falling, and if the baby don't start, mount up his wings and start flying, the mama swoop down and catch it on his back and bring it back up to the nest till it's strong enough to learn how to fly. Same with the Most High. He stood there and walked with us hand in hand. Every time we fell, he picked us back up. Verse 12, so Yahweh alone did lead them, and there was no strange God with them. All right, real quick before I get cut off, Joshua 24:12 or 14. Now therefore fear Yahweh and serve him in sincerity and in truth, and put away the gods which your father served on the other side of the flood and in Egypt, and serve Yahweh. And if it seem evil unto you to serve Yahweh, choose you this day who you will serve, whether the gods which your father served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites whom you dwell in. But for me and my house, we will serve Yahweh. And unless you want to catch that judgment, like the scriptures say, come back to the law, statutes, commandments, and serve Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shah. With that, we're going to close out. Lord willing, this was edified into the elect. Until next time, I say, Call Halal Yahweh. B'Hashem Yahweh Shah, B'Hashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and taught us this truth, and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you. I can push this truth and sincerity in the four corners of the earth, and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Stay strong. Shalom.